Kamen Rider Zeztz episode 37 might be the slickest presentation of the power of friendship I've seen in Kamen Rider. Forze was very on the nose about it, and Build did a little bit better of a job with it with the whole best match thing between Banjo and I don't remember the main rider's name at this time. Haruto didn't even try in Kamen Rider Wizard. Like, Kamen Rider Wizard was not about being friends. Interestingly enough, friendship was not magic in Kamen Rider Wizard. Magic was magic. So here we have Zeztz, which has been a very Baku-focused show. It's been a show that's very focused on the one rider, even though we've had these other enemy riders. It's interesting, too, that we have the lords, or whatever they're called, and they barely get used, or they don't get used simultaneously. A lot of the promo art shows all of them in their transformations, but they're not getting used regularly. It seems like they only have one Lord Invoker or Lord System, whatever, and they're sharing it between them. Anyway, it's interesting that Baku tries to go in alone on saving Nox, saving Odaka, and he doesn't want to wait for Zero, who is now his ally. His dad's his ally. He's helping him. And he doesn't want to wait for him to finish making the Zeztz driver. He doesn't want to work on that himself because he feels like it's more important to fight for Nox, or to fight for Odaka and to save him from Code. And I'm trying to think. Oh, well, more than that, taking a step back, it appears as if Mr. Fujimi is in danger. And because in the dream, he's dreaming that his life is at risk, and he's being a exposer of the PBS, and he's getting attacked, and Baku doesn't want to wait to defeat the Nightmare, or wait for the Zeztz driver so he can defeat the Nightmare. And then it pivots into being something about saving Odaka from himself, or from the control of Code, which is interesting because we have these multiple layers. So it's like I said, it is a sly setup into the redemption of Odaka. And it's a sly setup going into and making the statement that friendship matters, and more than friendship, interconnection matters. Baku tries to go alone into the situation and save Fujimi. Fujimi's not in danger. Then Fujimi is in danger from Odaka, and Baku decides to fight Odaka, but he can't do it alone. Why? Because he doesn't have the Zeztz driver, and he needs that level of power. So instead, he fights him with the capsums as well as he can. I think he's just using impact, basically, which is fine. Great. It was unclear to me how long the effects lasted of the capsums, but it seems pretty long, unless we just didn't see him swiping the impact capsum, because he did use the impact capsum for most of the fight. Even when he was transformed, he used it for a lot of the fight, which was pretty cool. It's nice to see the reliance on a single power, and to see how well it can be used, how much utility it has. That's really nice. Why? Because each individual matters, which is actually adding to the point that I'm making. It's adding to the theme that friendship is important, that interconnection is important, and cooperation is important, because I feel like that's kind of what's being said. We have multiple things going on. Code is an organization. Code, while it has leadership, including 3 who's near the top, there are others, though, who are higher up, it seems, because we've seen him reporting to other people. And then the agent system means that they have cells of people that they cooperate with and command as their operatives to do the task, to do the will of the organization, or whoever's at the top of the organization. Which gets back to Agent 5. We have this twist where we think that he and Zero, as the bike, are going to have this fight to the death, or whatever, this fight over Zero getting to Baku with the driver, which the driver was made by Minami, and so it's really cool. The driver was made by Minami and Nem working with Zero, but when they helped put the components together, and then he's making it, or he's ready to get it set up, and for some reason he needs to be in the dream in order for it to finish being constructed, and he falls asleep, or wakes up rather. The robot becomes inoperative because Zero is in real life in the custody of Code, and he's somehow able to dream kind of anytime he wants, it seems like. It seems like he's a very powerful dream drive. And he's able to slip into unconsciousness and dream all he wants. And in his dream, he's helping them in the Zeztz room. And he instantly returns to the Zeztz room, it seems, when he's asleep. So what happens is they put this device on him to keep him awake, to stop him from dreaming, which is great. It's a great little twist on things. And then who should appear but Emilio Estevez? Sieg comes back, and Sieg is there because, I don't remember, Nem was thinking about him somehow, and he comes back and he starts messing around, but ultimately he attacks the Zero robot in order to cause a black case in the real world, to cause him to fall unconscious from being hit so hard, basically. And then once he's unconscious, where does his conscious know? It goes into the Zeztz room. And there, he's able to complete the creation of the Zeztz driver, and then he takes it to Baku and gives it to him. And Baku's able to overcome, or is able to get to Nox. So, we have Fujimi's dream, Baku's connection with Fujimi, wanting to save Fujimi. He gets out of there, and he leaves the Zeztz driver to Zero and the others to construct. They construct it. They're almost done with it. However, Code interferes with their plans by messing with Zero. However, the connection that they have formed with Sieg calls Sieg back, and Sieg's desire, because this dream version of him that they're calling back from the ether or whatever, it's unclear how much of Sieg it really is, but it seems like it's really him. And because he wants to see Baku, or he wants to give Baku bad dreams, nightmares, whatever, because he wants to do this to Baku, his desire causes him to attack, cause the black case, knock Zero out in real life, which brings him back to complete the driver, to get the driver to Baku, for Baku to protect Fujimi, which is what he was trying to do anyway, which causes him to fight with Odaka. And then Zero, because he has this connection to Code, because I said the organization is made up of individuals, 5, you think he and Zero are going to fight, but 5 says, I am the watchdog of Code, so whatever you tell me to do, I will do, because you're my commander. And he hands him his capsum, which this part doesn't make sense. He hands him his shock capsum. Your girl had number 6, or number 6 had panic, and he's got shock. And so he hands him the shock capsum, and then Zero gives shock to Baku after he's been transformed. Oh my gosh. And then he gives himself the shock to the heart, and he gives Nox, Odaka, he gives him a shock to the heart, which breaks the spell, breaks the mind control, and he's able to wake up. And then Odaka takes Baku's outstretched hand, like Rey should have done to Kylo in Last Jedi. He takes his hand, he stands up, and together they're going to be united with the power of friendship against Code to bring Code down. Also, in his previous fight with 5, Baku, when he was unable to transform from 2 episodes ago, says, I will stop the nightmares and Code, and I will protect everybody, and I'll do it without having to sacrifice other people. So, this idea of interconnection and humans working together is very interesting, and there seems to be something thematic going on. And it's funny, I was talking about the theme from last episode. Is it order versus chaos? Maybe not. Maybe it's actually about cooperation, because you are not enough. You are not enough to get most things done. You are not enough to get anything global done. You need to work with other people, and you need to be able to forge alliances, form friendships, and forge cooperatives where you're working together towards the same goal. And at the end of the episode, they state that they were going to be working on the same goal of taking down the nightmares and protecting people from Code, which is great. So it's interesting because you have the respect or friendship between 5 and 0, giving him the thing that he needs to give to Baku, that he was only able to give him to utilize because of the friendship, the help of Nem and Minami, and then the frenemyship from Sieg, in order to awaken Baku to this power, in order to awaken Odaka, in order to turn him from an enemy into an ally, in order to take on all these challenges in a way that they will protect people. And it's non-coercive, it's cooperative, and it's really beautiful to me. Anyway, check out, or leave me a comment, tell me what you think about this episode, tell me what you think about my idea that, 1, of what the theme is, and 2, that the power of friendship is being so craftily fed to us in such a satisfying way. And check the pinned comment for my inspector's notes where I dive deeper into this episode. Until next time, folks, this is MJ with Rider Tears and Henshin Inspection signing out.